Good afternoon. This is Jared Smith, Superintendent of Schools at South Tama County. I just wanted to give you a quick update in terms of COVID. I know there's been some questions in the community and with our staff and with our students and parents about just noticing that the COVID numbers have been higher, not only in our county and in our district, but also across the state. So I just want to take a few minutes here to just kind of share some thoughts with you about where we currently stand um, in terms of the district response to COVID, as well as the possibility of going to remote learning. So as a school district, we're really focusing in on a couple metrics. We're looking at the county positivity rate, like the 2-week, the 14-day average of those individuals who test positive for COVID, as well as student absenteeism. And the two numbers we're looking at are when we start to kind of get in that zone where we start thinking about remote learning is when the county positivity rate goes above 15% and when student absenteeism goes above 10%. So right now, um, I just looked at the statistics. Tama County is at 18%. So we are definitely getting higher than we have been, as high as it's been for some time now. So that is something that is definitely something we need to keep a close eye on. In terms of the student absenteeism, we're actually pretty low. Right now, as of today, we're at about 3%. And you may be asking, where do you get absenteeism from? Well, absenteeism is calculated by really looking at the number of students who are impacted by COVID, whether it's number of students who are COVID positive or students who are sick. I know we've got some students staying at home who are not experiencing symptoms. They're actually fine, but they were in a close exposure. We actually don't count those kids against our absenteeism rate. So when you look at the 10% for the state, really we're at a pretty low percentage. We're at 3%. So while the county rate is pretty high right now, our student rate, absenteeism rate is pretty low. So that's, a bit of not so good information and a bit of good information. I really feel like I've really been happy with how our staff have responded and with the fact that we have been at 50% capacity in our buildings with the virtual option has allowed us to really limit the numbers, the COVID spread in our building. So I do feel pretty good about where we're at right now, even though I do know numbers are going up. I know other districts have opted to do some remote learning for short periods of time. I do feel good. But honestly, my biggest concern right now is staff members. Last week, we added it up and about 25 total staff members were out at one point or another last week. And most of that was COVID related and some of that was other related to other things. But, I feel like it's for us, the biggest concern hasn't been the student absenteeism, it's been our staff absenteeism. So that, if you're asking me what could potentially be a huge factor of us maybe going to remote learning, it would be our staff, how many staff we have out. And we did meet last Friday as an admin team with our nurses, with county health, and we felt good even with our staff being out last week. We were able to make it work in schools. We're kind of used to shifting around people and figuring out that puzzle to make sure that we've got our classes covered. So, I know student absenteeism is a big question mark, but for me and for a lot of districts, it's the staff absenteeism that really could impact the possibility of remote learning. So at this point, I'm just letting you know that we're not in a position right now to go to remote learning. We're going to keep a close eye on our numbers. Things could change in the next week. Things could change in the next few days. Um, if those numbers spike, then we'll take another look at it. But right now, I just don't. I want to kind of ease some of the fears. I know a neighboring district went to virtual learning, and some people, for all students, and some people have been wondering what we're going to do here in our district. And right now, we feel like we've done a good job of social distancing our kids and our staff members, and we are not in a position to have to do that. We've done a really good job of being in contact with Tama County Public Health to make sure we're in alignment with them, and they've actually been a part of our meetings, and they too feel like for right now we're in a decent spot. Here's what I will say is if we do make a decision to move to remote learning, I will try to give you as much time as possible. I don't envision this being at 3:00 in the afternoon, we say, oh, we're going to close down for tomorrow. It'll be a lot more warning than that. I would hope we could give you several days warning. I would hope we wouldn't start until the following week would be my hope. So if we saw today there were some numbers that really warranted closing down school, and today's Tuesday, so maybe feel some people out on Wednesday, and then would hopefully close down schools for the following week. So my goal would not be not to surprise anyone, to make sure we give you plenty of time to respond, to get some supervision figured out, to get lesson plans for teachers. So again, that's the goal. I can't forecast everything that could happen. So maybe there was a huge sudden spike and we'd have to move faster, but that would be the plan. So I want everybody to go away from this knowing that there would be plenty of warning, and we would give you the time to respond to moving to virtual learning. So again, if anybody's coming here wanting a hard answer in terms of, well, at what % will we close down schools for sure? And I just don't know if that'd be wise of us at this point to give a hard answer just because this is just so new, and we're kind of seeing how different school districts are responding, seeing how the community responds. So I just don't have a hard answer for you. Like I mentioned earlier, that student absenteeism is pretty low at this point. If we did get above 10% of students who are out because of COVID or because of illness, then that would be, that'd be a lot of students. So we would definitely want to take a lot closer look at that. But for right now, I just don't. I think it's more of a wait and see approach, and kind of see how the numbers go. With that being said, we're always going to err on the side of safety. I feel like a lot of our decisions have been, we've erred on the side of safety. We've made student-friendly and staff-friendly decisions, meaning that, just giving the virtual option, the 50%, it's just, we've made decisions that I feel good about, where we've kind of been in the middle as compared to other districts. And so we'll continue to do that. And we'll continue to kind of just take as much information in and take our time making the right decision. So again, I hope this helps. I will also share some of those. I'll share this video, and I will also share some of those quick hitter updates through email and on social media. So I hope this helps. Have a great day. Hang in there, and go Trojans.